All praises to the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Raha Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, laboring in His truth in all sincerity. Obadiah chapter 1, verses 3 and 4. And I'll read these in the NLT. You have been deceived by your own pride, because you live in a rock fortress and make your home high in the mountains. Who can ever reach us way up here, you ask boastfully. But even if you soar as high as eagles and build your nest among the stars, I will bring you crashing down, says Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So over the past 2 days, Nero has been posting a few AI images on his social media accounts. So I put together about 7 or 8 of them here. The first one here is U.S. President Donald Trump has posted an uncaptioned image of a map of the Middle East with the U.S. flag overlaid across the region and red arrows pointing toward Iran on Truth Social. So I'll enlarge this a little bit here. Trump posts Middle East map with U.S. flag overlay. So as you can see, if I zoom in a little bit here, this is the flag and we see the entire Middle East region. Egypt, Jordan, Arabia, UAE, Oman, Pakistan, Afghanistan, so on and so forth. And we see that there are several arrows pointing right towards Iran, which I don't want to speculate, but it could possibly mean that the U.S. is about to make a move on Iran. That is, all things considered, if peace talks or so-called peace talks, negotiations fell through, and it looks like now Trump is foreshadowing here a little bit that his sights are set on Iran at this particular time. But as you can see, the U.S. flag, I should say, is over the entire Middle East region. So that's the first picture that Trump has put on his Truth Social account. If we scroll down, and I'll zoom in on this one as well, Trump just posted this on Truth Social. Okay, we have it in our sight. Fire. Boom.
Okay, we have it in our sight. Fire. Boom. Okay, we have it in our sight. Fire.
I paused it right there. Once again, this is an AI image here, some type of US, some type of battleship it looks like, and it seems to be firing some type of laser at this particular aircraft here. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a drone or an actual jet, but it seems that it's being struck with a actual laser here. Once again, this is AI, so I really can't make out exactly what that is. So once again, we see Trump is using AI and perhaps what can be a little bit of foreshadowing here and what his next move is going to be. I'll scroll down a little bit more. New media post from Donald J. Trump. This is off his Truth Social account, May 17th, 2026 at approximately 4:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this is we see up top here, that is the United States Space Force. That is their logo. We see Trump with shades on. And if you look closely in the background there, that appears to be a so-called UFO. I actually found it a little more interesting looking at these particular, what looks to be futuristic robot warriors. I don't know if anyone ever had like G.I. Joe or He-Man action figures, but the way the shoulders are, the way the knees are, it looks like those are the same type of action figures that a lot of kids may have had growing up. So right about now, it looks like they're trying to show the public something here. Perhaps this is something that they're working on, or already have, I should say, and are about to start releasing. But you never really can tell with Trump. Once again, just like I put in a video, maybe 1 or 2 videos that I've just done in the past, war is deception. A lot of things that we actually see, most people, when it comes to war, most of these nations, they deal in the art of deception. They'll put things out there, propaganda, or even in terms of their weapons inventory, they'll put certain things out there that they really don't have. Or a lot of times what they'll do is they'll purposely not tell you everything that they have. And then that's how you fall into a trap if you end up invading them and they're able to fight you off. So once again, we can see that this particular image here, that looks to be a so-called UFO in the background with some type of futuristic soldiers, robot soldiers here as well. And this is off of Trump's Truth Social website, his social media, I should say. So we see here another AI image. This is Trump walking with some type of Martian or space alien. I'm pretty sure this is what they will refer to as the Greys, if I'm correct. But this is off of Trump's Truth Social once again. All of these particular pictures and graphics that I'm showing, these videos here, have all been put up within the past 1 to 2 days. So the previous picture that I just showed Trump, an AI image, standing in front of a so-called UFO. Now this particular video here shows him walking with some type of Martian once again. So all of this is AI. So I just want to keep reiterating that this is Trump actually putting all of this stuff on his Truth Social account. And I don't know, the actual particulars of this. I don't know if Trump is actually sitting there himself doing this, obviously, or if he's given someone from his media relations team, they may have access to his accounts and they're uploading all of these things on his behalf. But nonetheless, it is on his accounts. Okay, this is just the actual still shot image of that once again. This is the one that I found to be the most interesting here. Once again, this is Space Force. You can see the emblem there and right there. This is Trump with his hand, with his finger on the red button. That red button we know is the nuclear option. And we can see right there the mushroom cloud, so there's a lot of foreshadowing here in these particular AI graphics that he's uploading here. So Nero right now seems to be up to something. And if you look at this real careful here, and I wish I would have thought about this when I was getting these pictures together. I've seen several pictures of, the AI images of Yahweh Shai, or the angels, I should say, and they're in a UFO with a huge glass. They're standing on glass looking down at the earth. This is basically Nero doing the same thing. We can see the earth behind him, so it's like he's out of space, activating these nukes from space, and you can see the earth behind him right there in these particular images. So once again, there is the mushroom cloud right there. It says target destroyed. So we see what Nero and his staff is up to. They're giving out, and these are not even subliminal here. These are actual in your face. We're planning on something big here, so There's nothing cryptic about this or anything subliminal. This is actually in your face, and this is from a sitting president. So just something to, keep in mind as we understand we are this much closer to this place actually being destroyed. These things are taking place right now in our lifetime. So I don't think there's anything that anyone should be in denial about as it pertains to the scriptures. The scriptures warn us about this day and age that we are currently in right now, this exact moment that we are in right now. It's written all throughout the scriptures, as it was told to our forefathers, as it was told to the prophets, I should say, who have been reiterating this even right now to this very day. This is what we constantly go into all the time. I sit here, I listen to the prophets speak all the time, the men of great millstone. And, these men go into this ad nauseum all the time. This place is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire. The traps that Babylon think that they are going to set for everyone else, they're going to fall into those traps themselves. So, and I'll pull out a couple of scriptures on that very shortly here. I just want to finish up with these pictures real fast. And once again, it was the calm before the storm. We see Trump here with a MAGA hat on, standing in front of a naval officer. Trump's AI generated calm before the storm post fuse Iran strike speculation. As you can see right there, we do see the Iranian flag there in the background. So this is Trump actually sending out subliminal threats, I should say, to Iran. But like I said earlier, this is not even subliminal anymore. This is in your face. So it looks like something big is potentially about to happen. Trump is the kind of guy who, he's not going to want to be taken as someone who just bluffs or someone who just sits on the computer all day putting up damn AI images. That would, probably in his own mind, he would feel that would actually discredit him. So if he's putting this stuff out here, I would say that there is a strong possibility that he would actually act on this type of stuff. And I think this is the last one, but we already looked at this one. So once again, this is the one that showed Trump with the Space Force emblem on each side of this particular picture, and his finger is on the nuclear option there, the red button. So once again, this is 7 or 8 different pics and graphics, all depicting things that the scriptures have warned us about, and I'm not going to do any type of reiteration of those. I think I went into those and we all got the point there. So, but as this last one here says, it was the calm before the storm. This is the one here, though. It was the calm before the storm. Once again, this one fuels Iran strike speculation. And, and it is going to be a serious storm. The scriptures tell us that, the chariots of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, these chariots are likened to whirlwinds. So I'm going to look at Ezekiel chapter 1 real fast, verse 4, and then I'm going to go straight into Jeremiah chapter 30 as well. Ezekiel 1 and 4. And I'll read this in the KJV. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it. And out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. So we see that, when the scriptures speak of the chariots, a lot of times it's likened, or the imagery that it gives us is the whirlwind, right here as well. If you look at it in the NLT, it just says, as I looked, I saw a great storm. The KJV says, as I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came. And, this is the type of stuff, that, Trump is playing these games here. He has to be real careful, with what he says here. It was the calm before the storm, so, we have to look at his wording here and how he doesn't realize that you are basically a tool right now, the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So these things that you're speaking of, it was the calm before the storm. Exactly. We know that all of these events here are going to lead up to our salvation, the salvation of the elect of the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So there's a series of events. There's a few prophecies remaining. Here we have the MOTB, Jeremiah 30:7, as well as the nuclear destruction as well, and so this is what's leading up to that, and the deliverance. These are some of just the major prophecies that's going to happen right before that deliverance. And we know that deliverance, the elect, will be on these chariots, as protection. That is the deliverance there. And I'm going to also look at Jeremiah chapter 30:23 real fast though. Once again, Jeremiah 30:23-24. Behold, the whirlwind of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai goeth forth with fury, a continuing whirlwind. It shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. The fierce anger of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai shall not return until he hath done it, and until he hath performed the intents of his heart. In the latter days ye shall consider it. I'm going to read verse 24 in the NLT as well. The fierce anger of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai will not diminish until it has finished all he has planned. In the days to come, you will understand all this. And we are in these days right now, and it's becoming more clear. It's becoming, this is more easy to understand. It's becoming, through the power and spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. This is, this has been revealed to us, through the men of Great Millstone. This is where I have learned this particular truth here. It is the men of Great Millstone, starting with the apostles on down, starting with Apostle Tahar, Apostle Ramlab, Apostle Gabar, and Apostle Tahar, Apostle Tahar, Apostle Ramlab, Apostle Gabar, and Apostle Ramlab. It seems to be one. But Salakia, I just had a brain freeze. But like I was stating though, this is the truth that we are learning from the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, that has been passed, that has been received, I should say, from the apostles onto the bishops of Great Millstone. And we are starting to see this right now, as verse 24 says, in the days to come you will understand all this, which is in the NLT. I want to go to one more scripture here, Revelation verse 1 and 7. But before I do that, if we look at this picture here one more time, we see Trump standing here. This is an AI image once again. Trump is in front of a AI image of a so-called UFO here. And we also see this one more time of Trump walking with this particular Martian or space alien. So if we look at Revelation 1 and 7, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, Amen. And so, when the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai returns, this is not going to be something that we see on, with AI graphics. Every eye is going to see this, so it's not going to be some makeshift, computer graphics like this. It's going to be far greater than this, far more spectacular than anything that, Nero or any graphics designer can conjure up here. So just once again shows that, the wicked, they are going to do what they do, and they're going to basically, it's a thing, it's pride, and that's Nero. Nero is so prideful, it's that level of pride that he has. These AI images you're putting out, showing a handcuffed alien and a so-called UFO, it's all part of Esau's illusion. Esau is basically delusional, so It uses deceit and witchcraft, just basically lies. And that's what you're seeing here. That's what this is. This is deceit. This is witchcraft. This is lies. Once again, this is something that Esau, frolics in this type of witchcraft. He frolics in these type of lies, and he puts it out there, and some people go on and believe it. Some people, as far as I understand, he's about to make a announcement sometime tonight. If I'm correct, it starts at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I'm not too sure on that. But I'm gonna go into Psalms chapter 7 real fast. Psalms chapter 7, and I'm only going to read verses 14 through 16. Psalms chapter 7, verses 14 through 16. And I'll read this in the NLT. The wicked conceive evil. They are pregnant with trouble and give birth to lies. They dig a deep pit to trap others, then fall into it themselves. The trouble they make for others backfires on them. The violence they plan falls on their own heads. Verse 17, I will thank Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai because he is just. I will sing praises to the name Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Most High. So once again, as I was mentioning a little bit earlier, these particular, these things here that Esau does, and AI, it's just another form of his witchcraft. It's just another form, these are these illusions that he puts out there, so this is what he does here, and he's arrogant too. Look at that, pointing his finger with shades on, standing in front of a, so-called UFO, so-called chariot, with these particular, AI robots. This is the proud here. This is the proud image of Nero. This is him back in the flesh. So, I'm not going to make this too much longer. I'm just going to end this here now with 2 Thessalonians. And I'll start with verse 9 and read down through verse 12. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 9 through verse 12 in the NLT. This man will come to do the work of Satan with counterfeit power and signs and miracles. He will use every kind of evil deception to fool those on their way to destruction, because they refuse to love and accept the truth that would save them. So Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai will cause them to be greatly deceived, and they will believe these lies. Then they will be condemned for enjoying evil rather than believing the truth. I pray this has been edifying and reaches the ears it's supposed to reach. Shalom.